Tonight, we head to Quesnel to find out about the economic impact that the BC Winter Games is having on the community. Plus, a look into what crime is costing the average BC household in taxes. And the T-Wolves pulled off yet another improbable upset win, moving on to the Final Four of the Canada West playoffs. Good evening, folks. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. Happy Friday. Our top story tonight, the 2024 BC Winter Games have kicked off in Quesnel, with thousands of people coming to the city to compete, coach, volunteer, or just spectate. Local officials say that the impact from the games will be long-lasting. Anna Burles was in Quesnel today and tells us more.
The Lataco Quesnel 2024 BC Winter Games have now officially started, and despite some events having been cancelled due to the lack of snow, the event is a major boost to the city of Quesnel, and Mayor Ron Paul is excited for the city to have this opportunity.
This is our signature event of all time, really. I mean, I've got experience in 4 or 3 other Winter Games, in the past, but certainly this one tops them all and is the icing on the cake.
Mayor Paul estimates that around 2,500 visitors will come to Quesnel for the games. And MLA for Cariboo North, Corley Oakes, says that Quesnel has been preparing for this for a long time.
Our community has been preparing for 2 years for the events, and to see everything come together, to see the athletes in the West Fraser Arena last night, and all of the volunteers, it has been incredible, and we're just starting.
The economic impacts, Mayor Paul says, will be substantial for the community.
I would conservatively guess that the economic impact of the 2024 games here in Quesnel would be $2 million plus. And that's not just from participants and spectators and so on and so forth. It comes from grants and corporate funds that flow into and through the community as a result of the games.
With athletes participating in sports such as curling, ringette, figure skating, and others, athletes, coaches, and other participants will leave with precious memories.
To provide this opportunity for athletes, their coaches and officials, incredibly important, because we need to be investing in young people, and sports is a tremendous way to do that.
The last day of the games and the closing ceremonies is on Sunday, February 25th. In Quesnel, Adam Burles, CKPG News.
Crime continues to be a major problem, not just in Prince George, but throughout BC and the country. Even if you personally haven't been impacted by crime, it's leaving a bigger impact on you than you might think. Tommy Osborne visited our downtown core today and brings us this report.
$824. That's the hidden tax you won't see in the provincial budget, according to Save Our Streets, an organization focused on addressing the rampant crime issue across the province. The organization says crime is costing every family an average of $824 a year, because even if you personally haven't been robbed, the costs of theft still reflects on the community.
It's the cost of doing business to those businesses. It's just like their employee costs, their advertising costs. It's another cost to them. They have to replace the product, right? Plus they have to spend all the money on the security.
Here in Prince George, we're no stranger to crime, and it's costing our local businesses and its customers dearly.
We understand there's addictions and there's the homelessness, and we understand all of that, and all those things are being addressed. The one issue that's not being addressed is the crime. We're in a community, we have basic rules of civil order, and we're asking for those to be upheld.
Just last week, this door was not boarded up. It's a glass door. Zukowski said the business was broken into and they still haven't had a chance to get it repaired or replaced yet. And Zukowski says this is just an indication of how every day something is happening in our downtown, whether it's something like this or fires in our back alleys, which pose huge fire risks to businesses. Zukowski says each day of inaction to address crime will put a strain on your wallet.
We've had fires in doorways. Every night we seem to have a fire in the alley, and you turn around and you call this stuff in, it's like, oh, well, they're just staying warm. Now, look, a fire is arson. Arson is arson. There's no because or latitude, right? You want to have a fire, go to a campground. You have a fire in downtown Prince George in the back alley, that's arson. It's about time that we start upholding the laws.
To make matters worse, Zukowski says he's heard of many businesses being told insurance wouldn't cover its building burning down.
Whose responsibilities does it fall to? The city. The city is providing a taxed service, and that's policing, and they're dropping the ball.
Zukowski hopes our municipal government takes action immediately, as crime continues to cost both the business and its customers. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
Let's shift to a little bit of lighter news now, some local lighter news. After being frustrated with the limited options of cheese available, a resident took it upon herself to create her varieties. This is quite a good story. Her passion for the craft led her to share her knowledge with others, and over several years, she's taught thousands how to make their unique cheeses. Dave Branco has more about what's so Gouda about Prince George's cheese maker.
I moved to Prince George, where your cheese choices are orange, white, and orange and white. And I thought to myself, oh good Lord, what have I done?
For over 9 years, Tracy Johnson has led one of Facebook's biggest cheese-making pages, Learn to Make Cheese. With more than 50,000 followers, she supports, troubleshoots, and explains to those worldwide making their cheese.
There's one guy in the United Arab Emirates who milks a camel. You know, there is serious diversity in this group, and everybody is welcome.
Tracy offers cheese-making classes both in person and online. Several of her students have even won awards.
A guy from the UK a couple of years ago joined group. He won 2 golds at the International Cheese and Dairy Awards last year for his creation, and he learned in group. You know, there are chefs out there right now who are making my cheeses because I have instigated some recipes. I've simplified a lot of the recipes that you find on the internet because, shocker, not every recipe you find on the internet is safe and or doable at home. Now we leave this until it stops free draining.
According to some cheese makers, the origin of the milk influences its flavor. Tracy has developed a cheese with locally sourced milk.
Okay, so I'm going to turn the cheese, gently lift it off, turn it in on itself. Then I'm going to gather up the cheesecloth again. It was made and developed here with the milk that you can buy here at our elevation. That's another important factor. If you're reading a recipe that was written on Australia at sea level, it's going to react differently than the milk that we have here in BC, where our cows are fed silage all winter, and that does affect the chemical composition of the milk. So you won't see me teaching camembert between November and February. I won't do it because it doesn't work properly. The taste isn't there.
Prince George's cheese-making expert Tracy Johnson aspires to be among the world's best. If you're new to cheese making and looking to try it out, Johnson offers classes on her website, cheeseneeds.com. Dave Branco, CKPG News.
This week, we're shining the entertainment spotlight on one of the most anticipated blockbusters of the year, Dune II, starring Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. The sequel to the 2021 hit sci-fi remake directed by Denis Villeneuve, this second installment centers around prodigy Paul Atreides, who unites with Chani and the Freeman while seeking revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family in the first Dune.
You've been fighting the Harkonnens for decades.
Look!
My family's been fighting them for centuries.
Facing a choice between the love of his life and the fate of the universe, he must prevent a terrible future that only he can foresee. This dark, ominous thriller has an amazing cast that stretches far beyond the 2 leads. It features Austin Butler, best known for his starring role as Elvis, Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken, Jason Momoa, Léa Seydoux, and many others as well. It's just a brilliant cast. It's been a long time coming, but fans of the original series will finally get to witness the exciting conclusion to the rebooted franchise. Dune 2 comes out in theaters on Sunday and will be in Prince George theaters in the coming weeks.
I want you to know I will love you as long as I breathe.
You will never lose me as long as you stay who you are.
Consider what you're about to do, Paul Atreides.
Silence! Prophecy is how they enslave us! Johnny!
As of this morning, the lowest gas price in Prince George was sitting at $1.41.9 per liter at Costco. That's also the lowest price in the province right now. Manitoba currently has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.24.9 per liter, while BC has an average price of $1.72.9 per liter.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix-and-match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
Okay, after a major upset taking down the 5th-seeded UBC Thunderbirds on Wednesday in the Canada West playoffs, the UNBC men's basketball team was back at it last night with another tough matchup, this time against the 4th-seed Manitoba. Again, the T-Wolves were heavy underdogs, but could they pull off a major upset 2 nights in a row? Caitlin Pobersnick has the details.
Well, the Timberwolves did it again. 2 wins in 2 nights means they continue to move up. UNBC men's basketball team advances their playoff run in Winnipeg to the Final Four after beating host team Manitoba on Thursday night. This means they are set to play number 1 team in Canada West, the University of Victoria.
You get to the Final Four and you know it's easy to talk about at that point, but we've actually had this group of guys has believed in themselves all the way through. It hasn't always translated in wins early in the year. We've gone through some growing pains. I think we were 1-7 or 1-6 or something in preseason. I've had some ups and downs, throughout the year.
We know we've never been here before, and just thinking of this far is awesome for coach and the program, and I'm just super proud and excited to be a part of this.
The team took risks to win against Manitoba, and clearly they paid off. And as Coach Jordan says, it's never too late to try new things.
In the first half, we tried playing a couple possessions of zone. We've barely played any zone the entire year. Just tried it, and they seemed to struggle with it a little bit, and we kind of went back to it a few times, and it sort of shifted the game for us near the end of the game, right? And I thought, I thought that was a huge piece in us coming ahead, right? The guys trusted in something we haven't spent a ton of time on, so that was great.
At this level, you got to keep your eyes on the prize and work with what's in front of you. And that's exactly what senior player Spencer Ledoux is doing.
I've been treating every game so far in this tournament like my last game, just trying to live up the moment and play as best I can, and it's worked out. So none of them have been my last game.
The University of Northern BC is rooting on the team as they continue their playoff journey, and it's a big deal for the university to see them go the distance.
It's incredible. I mean, it's history in the making, right? So we've never made it to a semifinal in a playoff, Canada West playoff situation. So number 1 to go in as the 12th seed to knock off number 5, and then to knock off number 4. It's pretty significant. They're representing UNBC, they're representing Prince George, they're representing their hometowns, their families, and Winnipeg's a long ways away, so hopefully they feel the love from their families and from the Prince George community and UNBC.
The Timberwolves have to finish top 2 during this tournament to get to nationals, but right now they're getting ready to play Victoria on Saturday at 4 p.m. Caitlin Pobersnick, CKPG News.
Even though the Winter Games are taking place in Quesnel, we still got a little bit of action here in Prince George. Today and tomorrow, the Kin is hosting speed skaters, and among them are the PG Blizzard's very own Eli Bernard, Emily Walsh, and Megan Van Sickle. Competing among the province's best on home ice is special for the skaters, who say that the energy at the BC Winter Games is unrivaled when compared to their regular meets. So the chance to skate in front of a large crowd, not just family and friends, but also visitors from all across the province, makes for quite the exciting day.
It's amazing, and I'm really glad we got to get this opportunity after our last games was canceled, and it's really nice that we still get to represent our zones. I love pushing myself to always be better. I love the community and making friends, and even like the parents and the coaches, like all the officials, everyone's just so nice, and it makes it really enjoyable.
There's a big opening ceremony that we went to, and that was pretty cool. It was really exciting. They had like a few shows by the Quesnel Dance Club, and then they had a singer that was like 12. It was very impressive, and they lit the torch, which was very cool.
The TSX is up 95 points to close at 21,413. The Dow Jones is up 62 points to close at 39,132. and Sea and Rails is up 47 cents to close at $177.69.
Good evening again, everyone. We are in for a pretty wet weekend ahead, right through most of the province. You can see this system here is the low pressure system that is moving right through. It's moving down towards the southern half as well into parts of Saturday and Sunday. But for us, we do have periods of snow and rain in our forecast for much of the weekend. So we'll jump into the futurecast where it's very active. You can see here next 48 hours for sure. Lots of precipitation anticipated throughout our region, and the blue of course indicating the snow, so it'll likely be snow, if anything maybe a wetter snow at times, but still anticipating some accumulation as well throughout our weekend. Very wet along the coast with some rain showers, but again, this is right through the weekend. This is a low pressure system that's going to intensify as we move through the weekend, and that is creating quite a lot of precipitation, and even throughout mountain passes in our province, southern half, and where we are as well, Tejon to the Alberta border. There is going to be significant snowfall over the course of the next few days. So just keep that in mind, and always checking Drive BC before heading out. So up towards the north coast, already seeing the rain today, and that will carry into tomorrow. So for us, cloudy to start. We'll likely see the periods of snow kind of picking up throughout the day or throughout the later part of the morning. +2. So very mild still going into our weekend for the most part. Wind chill factor is something to take note of, though. We are going to see some winds gusting, much like we did today, throughout parts of our Saturday and Sunday. And then as we get into Sunday night and early next week, we see a real shift in our temperatures, which you'll see on our extended forecast in a moment. So we have a cold front sort of in the wake of this low pressure system that will bring the temperatures down. 3 degrees for Quesnel, 1 in Vanderhoof, Fort St. James as well. So not too bad for your temperatures. Daytime highs are above 0, but lots of precipitation expected. And I think we'll be looking at quite a lot of accumulation in some areas as well. A wet one along the west coast, highs of 10 at Vancouver. We're seeing temperatures around 6 in Winnipeg, and much colder in Montreal and Toronto than it was today for sure. So well below freezing there. Snow or rain is anticipated this weekend, as I mentioned. So on our big map, there's not a whole lot to see, but you can see the jet stream is still kind of, it hasn't pushed too far south. So we are still seeing a little bit of that milder air hanging in, but Arctic air or colder air is coming down, and that will be right in time for Sunday night and into Monday. So you see a drastic change in those temperatures going into early next week for Burns Lake. Lots of sunshine though for Monday. We've got snow tonight, and that carries into the weekend. So quite a lot of accumulation, cooling down to +1 on Sunday. Mackenzie -11 tonight, turning cloudy and cold tonight. We're up to about 0 tomorrow, and then below that going forward. So the shift is Sunday night down to -19 and even into -27 for Monday night. That colder air settles. McBride -6 tonight, a little bit of snow, 2 to 4 centimeters possibly, another 3 to 6 possibly tomorrow. Again, it won't be all day, but certainly pockets of that snow on and off or intermittent throughout the day, and carrying that into Sunday as well. But above 0, up to 3 degrees. Quesnel will be quite mild until Sunday night and Monday. -10 on Monday. It clears out a bit though after the precipitation. So we're looking at some snow and snow rain mix here in Prince George for the next few days, and we will see a big change, cool down on Monday. That carries into most of next week. A bit of sunshine though to start off.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
The Spruce Kings are getting ready to take on the Vernon Vipers tonight. Caitlin Pobersnick had the chance to catch up with play-by-play announcer Jack Clark ahead of tonight's game to check out what's to come for tonight.
We are here at Copar Memorial Arena ahead of tonight's game against the Vernon Vipers. Puck drop is at 7 o'clock, and everybody's getting excited. This is the first time that the Spruce Kings have had a game in how many days, Jack?
It's been 20 days since the Spruce Kings played here at Copar Memorial Arena. It's nice to be home. You know, we're down on the island last week. It's beautiful down there, especially this time of year. Not too warm, not too cold, but there's nothing like Prince George and being here at Copar Memorial Arena.
Now, tonight isn't just a normal game for the Spruce Kings. It's a fun night, and it's meant for kids, is that right?
Yeah, it's not a school night here for the Prince George Spruce Kings in partnership with 101.3 The River. But what that means is that kids from different schools across Prince George and the surrounding area, they're all going to be here tonight cheering on the Spruce Kings. We've got over 1,300 seats sold already. That's amazing. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you can do that by visiting our website, the Not a School Night link, to get some discounted tickets as well for if you do go to one of those schools that are on the list. No, it's going to be a really, really fun night. Knocker ball during the first intermission. One of the teachers who wins that knocker ball tournament, they'll win a Spruce Kings visit to their school in a date in the future as well. So a lot of exciting things happening tonight before the hockey even gets underway.
Now, you guys have also gotten a lot of new players since you've had a home game last, and a couple of returning Spruce Kings players from IR. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the big one, a name that a lot of Spruce Kings fans are going to remember, Ben LaFranc. He's been dealing with an upper body injury for the entire season up to this point. He made his return last Friday against the Victoria Grizzlies. In 3 games on the island, he picked up a goal and an assist. He looked really good, skating as well. So really excited to see Ben LaFranc back on home ice. Also making their Spruce Kings debut at home is Vital Dennis and Aiden Sulany, both who were acquired before the roster deadline back on February 10th. You know, they played on the road for the Spruce Kings, but it'll be their first taste of Copar Memorial Arena here tonight. I know, talking to both of them, they're really excited about it, and no better night to do it as well.
Well, I know all the kids are going to be really excited to cheer them all on. Might not know what they're cheering for, but it'll be a good game regardless. Thanks, Jack, for joining us. And again, puck drop at 7 o'clock tonight, and we'll send it back to you in the studio there, Eddie.
Well, it's never a bad day to commit to a university, and a Prince George player has done just that. Caitlin Pomersick has more now on a Spruce Kings player that's taken the next step in their hockey career.
Another Spruce King has committed to a post-secondary institution. Owen Goodbrand found himself signing on to play with Bentley University once his time with the Prince George team has expired. The 04-born center took his time in finding a school that best suited him, and now he's en route to being a Falcon.
I spoke a lot with the coaches and the staff there, and they had great things to say about the future and what they're predicting for the future. And I had the chance to go down there and check it out last week, so I was really appreciative of that. They included my whole family, and we got to see what it was all about, and it was exactly what I was looking for, a good hockey program and getting a good education.
As Goodbrand says, the education is just as important as the hockey, and he shows that the commitment to prepare for university courses starts now.
Well, I'm taking a course right now online to try and get a head start on my post-secondary, so I think that'll help out a lot. And it's weird because it hasn't really set in a lot yet. We've been pretty busy with the road trips and going to check it out.
The Waterdown, Ontario native will be much closer to home at his new arena, which was also a nice additive when choosing a school.
My family had been there, I think, 5 or 6 times without me for my sister's dance competitions, so it was kind of cool to go there, and my parents already knew the area, and I'm just happy that it's going to be close to home, and they play a bunch of teams that are 45-minute drive from my house, so it's a good change from being all the way out here.
Head coach of the Spruce Kings, Alex Even, is excited to see another one of his players get a scholarship and have a plan after junior hockey.
Well, first off, it's a great life experience. It's what our league's all about, is seeing players come into programs and you know, earn their commitments and go off to college and get a great degree. Bentley's a great university and play hockey at a really, really high level. And if you can really succeed there, I think, you know, now you can see that there's a lot of college players maybe getting cracks at pro hockey. So it's a great step in that direction for him. You know, it's going to be cool. He doesn't know it yet, but a couple years away still. Hopefully he keeps getting better with our group.
Goodbrand plans on heading out to Boston for the fall of 2025. Caitlin Pomersnick, CKPG News.
Slick plays, game winners. What else could you want in a night full of sports? We've got the 3 best plays from last night in tonight's CKP3.
Let's get right into it. An overtime winner for the Flames. With just about 1 minute left on the nail-biting overtime clock, the Flames get a chance on a 3-on-1 and take advantage on home ice, getting that 3-2 victory. Taunting never hurt anybody, right?
We'll take on Atlanta tomorrow. They'll see Pascal Siakam Monday in Indiana, and then a homestand after that. Scotty B with the 3 from Brockville. Good execution.
Doing someone else's celly in their face is a gutsy move, but all is fair in the love of basketball. He can shoot, he can dribble, and he can give some sick assists.
Razzle-dazzle! It's Curry to Wiggins for the big finish.
Steph avoided the collision and got a beautiful pass off to Wiggins for the top spot in tonight's CKP3.
Hello from the CKPG Today side. We're taking the show on the road today, so you'll see us out and about in the Quesnel-Lataco region for the BC Winter Games that are happening there. Of course, we had to head down to celebrate in person with some athletes and some different sports, so you get a good, it's kind of like a smorgasbord of the BC Winter Games today on the show, a little bit of everything. Plus, of course, our latest submission in the CKPG Today Wedding Proposal Contest in partnership with the Image and White Wedding Gallery. And today you're going to see the submission from Julie. And this is a nice, heartwarming, outdoorsy, very family-oriented proposal here that happened in northern BC. All that and so much more coming up on this side of the show. Of course, I feel like my BC Winter Games sport would be officiating, but I don't know if that counts. Over to you. What would your BC Winter Games competition sport be? Maybe I feel like you could be an archery guy.
You know what? I gotta say curling is my answer. I've always fancied myself as a pretty good curler, so there you go, Mr. Fanshaw. That's all for tonight, folks. Thanks for joining us as always. We did it. It's the end of the week. Have yourselves a great weekend. Your last look tonight is a ringette game over at the 2024 BC Winter Games in Quesnel. Once again, folks, have yourselves a great night and a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.